So there are four different functions when it comes to muscles. There's agonist, antagonist, synergist, and fixators. So agonists are also known as the prime movers because they are the muscles that provide major force to complete the movement. That's why they're known as the prime mover. So for example, in a bicep curl, when you're doing a flexion at the elbow, the bicep muscle is the agonist because it's the main muscle completing the curl. The other muscle movement that I want to talk about is antagonist. So the antagonist refers to muscles that oppose the agonist. So during elbow flexion, where I was doing the bicep curl, the bicep is the agonist and the tricep muscle is the antagonist. So while the agonist is contracting, causing the movement to occur, the antagonist typically relaxes so as to not impede the agonist. It doesn't always relax, though. Another function of the antagonist can be to slow down or to stop a movement. One of the other muscle functions is synergist. So synergist is a movement in the muscle that stabilizes a joint around which movement is occurring, which in turn helps the agonist function effectively. It's to help keep everything stable. They also help create the movement. So in a bicep curl, the synergist muscles are the brachioradialis and brachialis, which assist the biceps to create the movement and stabilize the elbow joint. And then the fixator is a movement in which the muscle that stabilizes the origin of the agonist and the joint that the origin spans or moves over in order to help the agonist function most effectively. So I also want to talk about the deltoid muscle, which is right around up here. So when we're doing abduction, when we're going like that there are portions of a prime mover that may contract independently of the rest of the muscle. So out of the 9 muscles that are around this area, 3 of them act as prime movers. So pectoralis major, latissimus dorsi, and deltoid muscles when I'm doing abduction. And then the other 6 are used as synergists, as fixators. And the synergists prevent inappropriate movement at any given time. So it's to help keep stabilization and make sure that there is no inappropriate movement. Opposing groups of skeletal muscles are arranged across movable joints so that one group can reverse or modify the action of the other group. So muscles in opposing compartments usually act as agonist and antagonist pairs. So an antagonistic pair, for example, would be when one muscle contracts, the other relaxes. So an example of this are biceps and triceps. So to contract, the triceps relax while the biceps contract to lift the arm. And then when you relax, you're using the triceps. So I'm also going to discuss the main actions of major muscle groups in the limbs. So for biceps brachii, the main function is flexion of elbow and supination of forearm. For the triceps brachii, the main function is extension of the elbow. So another main muscle is quadriceps, and the function is flexion of the femur and extension of the knee femur. Another major muscle is the hamstrings, and their movement is extension, medial and lateral rotation of the legs, flexion of knee. Major muscle of the calves is gastrocnemius, plantar flexion of foot, and flexion of knee is the movement. Soleus is another major muscle, and its function is plantar flexion of foot.